lot of localities at some point outlawed junkyards. They were allowed to do so by state code, as Mrs. Martin mentioned. We're a Dillon Rule state. State code says you don't have to have these anymore, and they're regulated. And so localities started taking these and saying you can't do them anymore. But if you were already doing a junkyard before that happened, you could still continue it. Your non-conforming status also really does stay with you and with the future owner if you keep doing the same thing. So if you had a junkyard, then they became illegal, but you were legally non-conforming, you can sell that junkyard and the next person can still do it. They have not lost that right. You can essentially buy and sell that non-conformity with the property. So non-conformity is a protection for both property owners and for users, that if you start something, you establish it legally, you get to continue doing it. B2. The folks that have purchased that building are converting it into senior apartments. They're doing an amazing and incredible job on what they're doing out there, and it just looks beautiful. The first building, so they have the old house, has got 2 apartments in it, and the first building in the front is going to have 5 senior apartments. It is very clear that for those 5 senior apartments plus the 2 in the building, in the office building, they meet the parking requirement, and the parking out there is asphalt. I have told them when they move to the next set of buildings, they're actually going to have to come in, and we're going to have to demonstrate through, probably, at that point, we'll probably have a minor site plan. And we'll do a minor site plan process to demonstrate that they can meet the parking requirement. For them, it will be about the number of spaces and not about the treating of it, because they have an asphalt lot. But that's an example of how it's a little bit different in the B2. Cindy's Closet. Cindy's Closet is in the B2, so a drive to back behind it. This is an example of where you had B2, you had an existing situation, ownership, and a change in use. However, because essentially you're talking about what was a commercial structure, which is still a commercial structure, the use is allowed, the previous use was allowed, they haven't expanded it over 50%. Was it established legally? So this has been a commercial building for many, many, many years. It was established legally, so it gets to maintain its existing situation. A repair that is below Fisher. This is also B2. The change in use, the change in who's running that business, a change in ownership of the building, none of those things take away its existing legally non-conforming status. They get to continue with that. A physical expansion could take away that status, but the change in use, the change in ownership, or who's running that business doesn't threaten that legally non-conforming status.